What was Sunset Paradise, or what is Sunset Paradise? Something that a few Glitch viewers do ask. What is this stupid little show with some girl with orange hair doing just in the Glitch Productions page? What is this? It's under 1 million views, why should I care? Well, I'm going to be talking about why you should care. Hey! This was SMG4! Maggie is my town! Maggie's from SMG4! I know. Freckle quote. Hello, my name is Surmi, or Sirmi, whatever you want to call me, and today I'm going to be talking about the infamous, forgotten show, Sunset Paradise. I found Sunset Paradise after my discovery of Digital Circus and Murder Drones, and after loving those two shows, I decided I should give Metarunner a try, which is a really long season and series that I did not have the time for, so I decided I should watch Sunset Paradise instead. It was under 1 million views, and I was just like, well, this looks cool, and maybe I can get a few other people on board, and my gosh, was it amazing. Genuinely, the animation, the voice acting, which Maggie is actually voiced by Lizzie Freeman, the voice of Pomni, the goofy characters and the plot, the message, and the atmosphere of the whole entire thing is so worthy to watch, and it's so underrated, which is why I'm here to talk about it. And if you haven't watched it, it's free on YouTube over at Glitch Productions. I'll link it in the description as well as the music I use in this video, which is just going to be the soundtracks from it, and I'd recommend watching it and coming back. It's interesting, really funny, and I was actually cackling while watching it for the first time. Now on with the video. What I want to talk about today is the characters and how silly and goofy they are, starting off with my favorite, Ori Bori. Ori is this silly, goofy, quirky goober that just kinda does his own little jam. He's the antagonist of the story, posing as a sheriff, which not really a sheriff, he kinda just does his own thing. He lives on the island of Port Aurora, which is where everything takes place in this story, as an wait, what are they called? He's an Ouroboros. I love that. Ori's family has a bloodline of sheriffs and everything, and ever since his grandpa passed away, all he ever wanted to do was be a sheriff himself. So that's what he did when he passed away. Even though he was never official, he still had the love and compassion in his heart to care and cater for people that are in need. Since most Ouroboros are
wimpy? Yeah.
Especially the mayor. Ori's character is genuinely one of my favorites in all of Glitch production history. It's basically like N, but better. He's just a silly, goofy character that does his own thing, but his character really gets brought to life when Maggie, our main protagonist, comes into the story. Maggie was originally from SMG4, Glitch's other series side project thing. I don't know what's going on over there. She was originally inspired by the Red Inkling from Splatoon, which I think is pretty cool. And she goes to Port Aurora on a vacation to get away from, I think, her home, which is SMG4. While on this vacation, however, she is acquainted with her own consciousness, also known as Shadow Maggie, which is basically her burden that just tells her everything is your fault and everything terrible is going to happen to you if you don't do a certain thing. Maggie does struggle with this a lot, also in the final episodes, but, you know, she finally gets over it, but here's my problem with that. My problem has nothing to do with Shadow Maggie, it's just Maggie overall. We never get to see what's happening at her quote-unquote home. Not that Murder Drones. SMG4 is supposedly her home, and being a Glitch Productions exclusive viewer, that isn't really shown through in this series. Of course, this is a spin-off, and I should probably go watch SMG4, we never really fully get to see Maggie's character develop, except she does go from being just a tourist to a sheriff, which I guess that's cool, but she does end up leaving in the very finale, so I don't know what the point of that even was. It looks like her burden is actually kind of gone away and has less impact on her, but still we never really got to see what happened to her and what her quote-unquote backstory would have been. Unless there's lore inside of SMG4, I have no idea what's happening, and if somebody is to let me know, please do, because I need more lore. It's such a cute show! Speaking of the show, let's explore our main antagonist, Benedict. Also known as Sir Benedict, however you pronounce this last name, is our main antagonist, and he's a little bit goofy. Ben is supposedly this giant monster fit into this small egg by a curse. How this curse formed is not necessarily fully explained, though we do get a bit of dialogue seeing that Ori's grandfather supposedly caused this curse, him being now stuck in an egg, and the only thing that can free him from this trap is the Phoenix Egg. The Phoenix Egg powers Port Aurora and brings life to every Ouroboros in you get it. Every 100 years, Port Aurora celebrates something called the Phoenix Festival, which is basically when the Phoenix Egg, or ashes, kind of form together and create this egg. It's said to bring immortality to any Ouroboros who is called upon it, or maybe even revived. I'm not sure, we don't get a bunch of dialogue on this, don't ask me. Some spoilers for the show, Ori does eventually, quote-unquote, die, but Maggie, having the courage that she has in that very moment, she is able to retrieve the Phoenix Egg and bring Ori back to life. This also causes Ori to get a cool reunion with his grandfather in the In-Between, which is a place between life and death, and it opens up every 100 years for the Phoenix Egg to supposedly bring them life, if so. This segment also gives Ori his character growth that he needs. His grandfather tells him you don't need a sheriff badge to supposedly run a town and protect people, but you need to have that love and compassion in your heart to do so. This literally made my heart warm. Oh my god, I love Ori so much. Alright, back to Benedict. The reason why he's trying to steal the Phoenix Egg from everybody, which is the main plot of this entire show, is so that he can get his old monstrous body back that he once had. So that he can free himself from his eggshell kind of form that he has going on, and hopefully, get rid of that, I don't know. He supposedly used to have this old life of strength and power and people bowing at his feet and soon creating this crazy criminal army, but all of that stopped when he became an egg. These criminals can be known as the Spud Buds, the Funky Force, and Whisk, and I have a big problem with Whisk. Everybody else, like the Spud Buds and the Funky Force, I have no problem with. I think they're very well written and maybe don't get the character growth that they needed, but I think they're really cool. I don't know, I don't really have a problem with them. They're just antagonists and I like them. I think they're silly. But my main problem with Whisk is that she is a very, very Jay-like character. Referencing Jay from Murder Jones, Jay is basically thrown away, seeing, oh god, vanity. People might want to call her a wasted character, saying that she doesn't get the character growth that she is quote-unquote needed to get. She praises her company, and even though her best friend is skinned alive and all that stuff, she still remains loyal, I guess, to the antagonist of the show. A lot of people were mad at this, and I think this also carries along with Whisk. Whisk is a character that looks like she's about to get some character growth, siding with Maggie at one point, but then joins Ben again for some reason. She does run away at the very end of the finale, which I guess is character growth, I don't know. We never fully get to see her character develop, which kind of makes me a little bit mad, but she's a very ooh-woo kind of character, and I don't like that necessarily. But it is what it is, and let's move on to the Spud Buds. We meet the Spud Buds in episode 2, which are just a bunch of goofy kind of potato characters. They eventually get sucked into a vacuum or something and end up in a jail cell, which I think is okay. The Funky Force is the same thing, but something that I do really admire about the show is how Ori actually has a full-on obsession with them. Like you can see in the show, and I wish there was foreshadowing of this up until episode, I think it was 6. I wish we got to see Ori obsessing over them like earlier, maybe listening to their music or pulling out some figurine of them beforehand. Maybe I missed something, who knows. But I do love the Funky Force, even though their concept is a little bit basic. I like them, they're goofy, and their OST soundtrack is absolutely fire. My problem with them, though, is that they killed the flipping mayor! They killed the mayor, and then this scene broke me! Something that also hit really hard in the show, not just the mayor's death or anybody else's death, but Ori's sacrifice. Ori being such a good character that he is, really, when he sacrifices himself for Maggie, it really hits really deep and everything. Maggie and Ori have such an iconic duo, which is really ironic, seeing that they're actually just polar opposites, Ori wanting to do literally everything and having that self-confidence that he has, and Maggie kind of being a self-aware and very, very introverted person. Maybe not introverted, but you know. The way that these two characters, I'm just gonna bring this up, bounce off each other, it could have a podcast become a murder mystery within the 2 seconds of it airing.
Wait, so this means you and I are going on another adventure. Mickey and Dory, partners forever, hanging out and solving crime.
I love how the characters just bounce off each other in general in this story. The dialogue and the humor actually being such a huge part in the story makes me so incredibly happy. I laughed a few times at this show because it was just funny. In all seriousness of this show, it genuinely does bring out the seriousness, especially in Ori's sacrifice when Maggie fully breaks down. The voice acting in this scene is phenomenal. It definitely has its serious bits and funny bits and just overall stupid bits in this show. It really does bring life to the story, and it overall just being a good versus bad kind of show, it brings texture to it overall and makes it just a good show. Yeah, good versus bad, but the plot definitely changes and fluctuates between episodes. It basically just began with Maggie losing her suitcase, and then it turned into you're either going to save Ori, or you're going to save this entire town. Which I do really admire about this show. It has such great storytelling, and I can't wait to see if it's either... It's not going to be continued, never mind. Last but not least, I want to talk about the atmosphere, the OSTs, and everything else that I noticed which just brings this show to life. No, I'm no critic or anything, but I do want to say the episode 2 animation is absolutely amazing. The way Ori's hat just kind of bounces off of him as he does whatever he does on these buildings. The lighting is also really good in this, and the animators did amazing. I love the character designs. Oh, it's so Nintendo-y, and I love it so much. The way their expressions are, and, you know, how they have the little anime background in the back at some scenes and stuff, really brings this show and just pieces it all together into this one very unique animation style. Like, if you showed me this and then showed me Murder Drones, I think these were made by 2 separate companies. It's very unique, and I think that's what really makes this show. Is it the best glitch production show? No. But is it something that we can all praise and enjoy? Yeah. The soundtrack is absolutely insane. The same person who made the Murder Drone soundtracks and Meta Runner soundtracks made ones for Sunset Paradise, and he cooked. AJ DeSpirito is genuinely amazing, and I'm surprised Azora hasn't, copyrighted this video. Please don't copyright my video. But I do want to emphasize the guitar solo that we get at the very final fight scene. Oh, it's so good, and I can't find it anywhere! The theme song of this is really catchy, and I've kind of memorized it. Why am I always living this endless crazy day? As I said previously, the Funky Force OST and everything. Of course, some of it is a little bit reused, but it does get its remixes when it's important to. But that about sums up my thoughts for Sunset Paradise. This show was so good, and I watched it a while back. I didn't really know that I was gonna do this video, but here we are. I recently rewatched it and was just like, actually, I'm gonna make a video about it, and here we are. I love this show, and it's always gonna have a special place in my heart. Anytime that I see Ori, I explode. He's so cute. I love him so much. And genuinely, this show has not changed my life, but it's definitely brought me lots of joy, and I can say when I was watching it at like 11, so yeah. But I cackled at a few scenes, and it was really funny. Yeah, I like this show. It's nice. Go watch it if you haven't, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Have a good day or night, depending on where you live. Toodles, and thank you for listening to me.